Pembina County is a county located in the U.S. state of North Dakota. At the 2010 census, its population was 7,413. The county seat is Cavalier. The area along the Pembina and Red Rivers was long inhabited by various indigenous peoples. At the time of European contact, the dominant tribe were the Assiniboine and the Lakota. Later, the Ojibwe migrated into the area from the east and became the dominant tribe. The people had a long trading relationship with French colonists and supported them during the 7 Years' War against Great Britain. By the time of the War of 1812, the Ojibwe were allied with the British against the United States, hoping to forestall a slow European-American settlers encroaching on the territory. During the first half of the 19th century, continuing conflicts between the Lakota and Chippewa along the Red River slowed European-American settlement. The Chippewa pushed the Lakota to the west and became dominant in the area. The county was created by the 1866 to 1867 Dakota Territorial Legislature and was organized on August 12, 1867. Pembina is derived from the Chippewa term for high bush cranberry, which grew in abundance along the Pembina River. The city of Pembina, the oldest European-American settlement in the state, was the county seat from 1867 to 1911. The seat was relocated to Cavalier. Cavalier Air Force Station and Icelandic State Park are both located in Pembina County. The first Icelandic immigrant settlement in present-day North Dakota was in Pembina County in the late 1870s, when a colony of settlers from Iceland moved into the county from the New Iceland homesteads near Lake Winnipeg. History. For thousands of years, various indigenous peoples inhabited the area along the Pembina and Red Rivers. At the time of European contact in the 16th century, the dominant tribes were the Assiniboine and the Lakota. The Ojibwe, also known as Chippewa, a branch of the Anishinaabe-speaking language group, gradually migrated west along both sides of the Great Lakes. They developed a long trading relationship with French trappers and colonists. Throughout the Red River of the North area, French trappers married Native American women, and the descendants continued to hunt and trap. A large mixed-race population developed, recognized as an ethnic First Nations group in Canada called the Amiakutis. The Chippewa and Amiakutis generally supported the French forces during the 7 Years' War in the mid-18th century against Great Britain. With the British defeat of France and takeover of its colonial territory, the Chippewa learned to deal with a new trading culture, armed with guns by trading and having adopted the horse from the Mandan and Hidatsa. By the end of the 18th century, the Chippewa had migrated from woodlands to the Great Plains and begun to push the Lakota west before them. By the time of the War of 1812, the Ojibwe allied with the British against the United States, hoping to forestall European-American settlers encroaching on the territory. With the settlement of the northern boundary with Canada, the Chippewa within the Dakota Territory were forced to deal with the United States. During the first half of the 19th century, the Chippewa had continued conflicts with the Lakota along the Red River, finally pushing them into present-day western North and South Dakota. Father George Belcourt, a Catholic Jesuit missionary who served them, described the territory in 1849 as the following: "We understand here that the district department called Pembina comprises all of the country, a basin which is irrigated and traversed by the tributaries of the Red River, south of the line of the 49th parallel of latitude, the prairies, rivers and lakes which extend to the height of land of the Mississippi, and the immense plains which feed innumerable herds of bison to the westward, and from which the Chippewa and half-breeds of this region obtain the subsistence, contains within the limits a country about had 400 miles from north to south and more than 500 miles from east to west. The MERQTIs used two-wheeled ox-drawn carts to transport great quantities of furs to market along the Red River trails, between what is now Winnipeg, Canada, and Mendota, St. Paul, Minnesota. They also used the ox carts to transport food and shelter during extended buffalo hunts. Over time, the Chippewa were persuaded to cede much of the land by treaty to the U.S., which in turn sold it to homesteaders. They moved to relatively small Indian reservations within their earlier territory. The precursor to Pembina County was a county of the same name in the Minnesota Territory, extending from the upper Mississippi River to the western boundary of the territory. When Minnesota became a state in 1858, its western boundary was set at the Red River, and the land to its west was unorganized. A new Pembina County was established as part of the Dakota Territory on January 9, 1867. At the time, it was much larger than it is today. In 1871, the county was expanded to include much of the territory in what is now eastern North Dakota from Canada to the South Dakota border. Between 1873 and 1881, 11 new counties were created from Pembina, including Cass County and Grand Forks County. Pembina took its current form in 1887, when Cavalier County was increased in size. The first Icelandic settlements in what is now North Dakota were established in Pembina County in the late 1870s. Many of the immigrants came from New Iceland near Lake Winnipeg, along with other Icelanders who moved into the area from colonies in Wisconsin. The new settlers lived primarily in the so-called Icelandic townships of Akra, Beulah, Garda, and Thingwilla. The State Historical Society of North Dakota reported fewer than 3 or 4 non-Icelandic families living there in the early 1900s. Evidence of this heritage is found in several township and city names with Icelandic origins. Akra was named after the town of Akranes, near Reykjavik. Garda was named for Gardus Vavarsson, who was reportedly the first Scandinavian to visit Iceland, and Halsen was named for an early settler, Johan P. Halsen. Icelandic State Park, located in Akra, was established to preserve evidence of this early pioneer heritage. Geography. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the county has a total area of 1,121 square miles, of which 1,119 square miles is land and 2.7 square miles is water. The lowest point in the state of North Dakota is located on the Red River of the North in Pembina Township in Pembina County, where it flows out of North Dakota and into the Canada-U.S. border of Manitoba. Major highways, adjacent counties and rural municipalities. Demographics. 2000 census. At the 2000 census, there were 8,585 people, 3,535 households and 2,364 families residing in the county. The population density was 8 per square mile, with the bulk of the population centered in the cities. Housing density was 4 units per square mile, with 4,115 housing units in the county. Racially, the county is predominantly white at more than 95%. There is a small population of Native Americans in the county. African Americans and Asian combined make up less than 1% of the total. 0.21%, 1.27% are from other races, and 1.44% from 2 or more races. Hispanics and Latinos made up a little more than 3% of the population. Early in the county's history, there was a large influx of settlers from Iceland. By 2000, the Census Bureau reported that Icelanders made up just 7.9% of the population, third after Norwegian and German. French and English and 6.6% ranked fourth and fifth, with 7.9% and 6.6% 6.6% respectively. There were 3,535 households, of which 29.8% had children under the age of 18 living with them. 58.2% were married couples living together. 5.3% had a female householder with no husband present, and 33.1% were non-families. 30.5% of all households were made up of individuals, and 15.7% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.38 and the average family size was 2.98. Nearly 80% of the county was under the age of 65 at the 2000 census, with children under the age of 18 taking up nearly a quarter of the population, followed by 45 to 64-year-olds and 25 to 44-year-olds. Those over the age of 65 were 19.5% the population, with 18 to 24-year-olds at 6.2%. The median age was 42 years. For every 100 females there were 100.6 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 100.2 males. The median household income FWAS $36,430 and the median family income was $45,338. Males had a median income of $30,400 compared with $21,340 for females. The per capita income was $18,692. About 7.4% of families and 9.2% of the population were below the poverty line, including 10.7% of those under age 18 and 9.9% of those age 65 or over. 2010 census. As of the 2010 United States Census, there were 7,413 people, 3,257 households, and 2,069 families residing in the county. The population density was 6.6 inhabitants per square mile. There were 3,859 housing units at an average density of 3.4 per square mile. The racial makeup of the county was 95.5% white, 1.9% American Indian, 0.3% Black or African American, 0.1% Asian, 0.8% from other races, and 1.3% from two or more races. Those of Hispanic or Latino origin made up 2.6% of the population. In terms of ancestry, 33.8% were German, 21.3% were Norwegian, 10.6% were Irish, 9.5% were English, 8.0% were American, and 5.5% were Swedish. Of the 3,257 households, 24.5% had children under the age of 18 living with them. 54.2% were married couples living together. 5.6% had a female householder with no husband present. 36.5% were non-families, and 32.4% of all households were made up of individuals. The average household size was 2.23 and the average family size was 2.82. The median age was 46.7 years. The median income for a household in the county was $48,502 and the median income for a family was $61,804. Males had a median income of $40,334 versus $29,662 for females. The per capita income for the county was $27,019. About 4.0% of families and 8.0% of the population were below the poverty line, including 9.5% of those under age 18 and 11.3% of those age 65 or over. Communities, cities, townships, unincorporated communities: Baku, Glaston, Halson, Joliet, Pittsburgh. American Indian Reservations: Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians, Pembina Band of Chippewa Indians,